At this point in my life and in my career, I have no desire to get back in the ring.
During the final chapter of his docu-series Undertaker: The Last Ride, the Phenom stated that he will be hanging up his boots for good. Over the years, the Deadman rarely broke character, which is why stories regarding him never fail to entertain. I'm Jeremy, and here are the 5 most interesting backstage stories about The Undertaker that you may not know. Number 5. The Undertaker saved Bruce Prichard from getting carjacked. Throughout his career, The Undertaker remained one of the most threatening men in all of WWE. Not even the 7-footers could trump him as he struck fear in the hearts of men like The Big Show, The Great Khali, and Mark Henry. In this regard, Bruce Prichard shared a very interesting story back in 2013 on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast. The story is from a time when Prichard worked for the WWE as Brother Love and managed The Undertaker before being replaced by Paul Bearer. Prichard and The Undertaker were traveling in a rental car after a show and got lost along the way. Prichard decided to get out of the car and ask a stranger for directions, but the man had other plans in mind and looked to rob Prichard. However, the thief saw a large man with a pale face staring at him from the car, which led Prichard getting away without any harm. Talk about being the most intimidating man in the business, and outside of it too. Number 4. The Undertaker convinced Chris Jericho to compete at WrestleMania 29. Chris Jericho is arguably one of the biggest names in the pro wrestling industry. Jericho had some of the best matches of his career at WrestleMania events, but it was at WrestleMania 29 where he was unsure about his booking. If you remember, he was booked to compete against Fandango at the event, and the multi-time WWE champion wasn't too happy with the match. He pitched a few other names to the chairman for the match, but Vince McMahon was high on Fandango at the time and shot down each one of Jericho's suggestions. Finally, Jericho decided to ring up the locker room leader, The Undertaker, to vent his frustration and take some advice. Undertaker was quick to point out to Jericho that he too had competed against some lesser-known superstars at WrestleMania, and therefore it was something that could help him grow as a superstar and also in the eyes of Vince. The advice proved to be fruitful as Jericho was convinced by the Phenom to compete against Fandango at WrestleMania 29, where he ultimately lost. Number 3. The Undertaker gave his blessings to Triple H. Being the top superstar in the industry comes with a lot of responsibilities. The Undertaker carried those responsibilities on his broad shoulders and remained the locker room leader for a large portion of his active career. As the locker room leader, Undertaker advised several men and women who approached him backstage about different problems. However, it was Triple H who benefited from some life-changing advice by the Deadman. Triple H wrote about his request for dating advice from The Undertaker in WWE's Attitude Era book that was released in 2015. Triple H revealed that he had a lot of heat backstage due to the rumors of him dating Stephanie McMahon, and he decided to take some advice from the Deadman regarding the same. Triple H wanted to know whether he was risking his career by making the move, and The Undertaker told him that it was no one else's business except Hunter and Stephanie's. Years down the line, it seems like Taker gave him the best advice possible. Number 2. The Undertaker wanted to face John Cena in his final match. The Undertaker has faced some of the biggest names in sports entertainment more than once. In fact, facing The Undertaker is regarded as one of the most prestigious things to achieve during one's wrestling career. While The Undertaker may have finally hung up his boots now, he came very close to retirement at WrestleMania 33, where he competed against Roman Reigns and lost to the Big Dog. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer reported that The Undertaker wanted to face John Cena in his final match. That means that his match at WrestleMania 33 could have been against John Cena, but Vince McMahon shot the idea down himself. Taker did go on to compete against Cena at the following year's WrestleMania and won the match in under 5 minutes. His final WrestleMania match took place this year against AJ Styles, where the Phenom defeated the Phenomenal One in a Boneyard match. Number 1. The Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers. The Undertaker has had a long and illustrious career in wrestling, where he's managed to strike fear into the hearts of every single opponent he's faced in the ring. While The Undertaker is one of the most frightening stars at WWE, there is one thing that frightens the Phenom more than the sight of a wrestler who's 7 foot tall and 400 pounds. To be exact, the Deadman's weakness is a cucumber. As revealed by his former manager Paul Bearer and then confirmed by Bruce Prichard later, The Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers. According to Bear, the fear had something to do with his parents making him eat them when he was younger. He hates cucumbers so much that the sight of it makes him nauseous. Prichard was generous enough to share a story where Owen Hart played a prank on the Deadman by putting cucumbers in the bottom of an iced tea glass so that Undertaker would drink the tea and didn't realize there were cucumbers there until it was looking him right in the face. That's not all, as there are several stories regarding The Undertaker and other superstars who've tried to get one over on the legend by putting cucumbers around him. And that's our list for today. Which one of these 5 were your favorites? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page. That way you know when the latest news and content comes your way. Thank you for tuning in.